Sometimes the old way really was better, and with games and movies and things like physical media, that's definitely the case. Sony just announced that all Studio Canal movies are going off of their Sony PlayStation Store service, and they're just going to take them out of people's libraries, even though when they bought them that said purchase movie. When you purchase something, you typically take ownership of it, and when you had DVDs and Blu-rays, when you did that, you actually had the disc, and I still have tons of these things, and I still own them. I can't distribute them myself. I can't send them up to other people. That's not part of the agreement that I have in terms of copyright and ownership, but I can play them however I want. I can rip them into my server and store them on my NAS. I can play them back on my TV. I can play them back on my iPad, and the company can't control my use of it like that. But when you buy it, even though you're not really buying it, even though it says you're buying it, when you buy it on the PlayStation Store or from Apple or from Amazon or from YouTube or any of these organizations, you're not really buying the movie in the same way. You're just kind of like buying access to it for some period of time, which may be a day, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe a decade, I don't know. But it's kind of ridiculous because you're paying more for it than a rental, and they do have rentals and purchases, but you're not really buying it in any sense. And it gets worse because Sony just announced that I think in 2027 they're going to stop producing discs for their games, meaning you can buy a boxed game like Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that, and you're just going to get a digital access code, meaning, and this is without talking about like stop killing games, meaning you're buying something, you're purchasing it for 70, 80, 90, $100 or more, and you're not getting anything for it. You're getting access to something temporarily until the service wants to take it away from you, whether because of some perceived violation of the terms of service or because they're just like, you know what, we don't want to license this anymore. We don't want to pay whatever a month that they're paying to these companies for access to their video libraries, which is ridiculous. It's funny, like I thought 20, 30 years ago, we were moving in a direction where we were getting better content ownership because like with Apple iTunes, Steve Jobs famously argued with all of the music distributors, like we want people to be able to buy these songs and have access to them, and they can download DRM-free versions of it and do what they want with it. And for a short time, people were actually like, okay, I'm on board with this. I'll pay $1 a song or $12 an album or whatever, get these songs, and I can store them locally. I can do whatever I want. And Apple even had a way that you could back up your library, but all DRM-free through their iTunes Match and all that. But with Spotify and now Apple Music and all these things, music is going back away from that model towards DRM and subscriptions and all that, where you don't actually have any ownership over the things that you want to watch. And there's always this argument of, you know, a movie is $20 or $15 or $25 or $30 or whatever, and it's so much cheaper just to have access to Netflix or something. But now we've seen that breaks up too. Now we have Netflix and Paramount Plus and Peacock and Apple TV Plus, and I don't even have to get into all these different things. I think there's Prime and HBO Max or Plus or whatever that is. There's so many services now that if you wanted to have access to all the movies that you used to have access to just like at a Blockbuster, you're going to have to pay like $800 a month. So don't tell me that paying $30 for a movie one time a month when you want to have ownership over it and watch it as many times as you want, with as many people as you want, however you want, don't tell me that those things are equivalent, because they're not. And if the streaming stuff works for you, that's fine. I'm not saying that you're a bad person or anything. I'm just saying that when you have words like buy or purchase or ownership, those things mean something. And when people can just take away the things that you bought, that's kind of like somebody coming into my studio here and saying, you know what? That tool up there that you bought, we don't think that you should be able to solder anymore. So we're going to take the soldering iron that's right up here. We're just going to take that back from you. It's like, no, I bought that. And those words mean something. So I don't know. I hope that somebody can like sue Sony for this and get some recompense, because you can't buy things from someone and then have them just remove them from your library. And part of the problem with that is, when you buy a thing and you don't have actual ownership or control over it, like in the Sony store where it's all DRM protected, you can't back it up, you can't have it on any other device, it's all tied to your Sony account. And that's also why I don't recommend people buy things from any of these other stores that are online only and require DRM. Anyway, I thought I'd post a little ranty video because, you know, this is why I talk about self-hosting and running things like Jellyfin and services that can't just be deleted from your network for whatever reason, because it's important to be able to do things and have value out of the money that you spend on things that doesn't just disappear one day because some company decided to stop doing a licensing deal with another company.